I'm going to talk to you now about UK music events, festivals, Glastonbury, rock gigs, where some of the sort of biggest international bands come. My organisation, Bright Green, which is my full-time job, we spend 3 months on the road working at these events, evaluating them and looking at how we can move towards zero waste. Okay, so these are the areas that we're going to cover in the talk. We'll look at the challenges, the approaches, management options, what we do before the event has started, the operational, what we do while it's running, and then we'll talk about getting the environmental, the social and the economic aspects of these integrated. What we're going to do next as well, because each year, like I said, we evaluate what's going on. It's a slow process. Events at the moment are not sustainable. And we've been doing this now for the past 4 years, and I think we're going to be in it for the long haul. And finally is our approach. There's lots of people doing waste management at festivals, but we're really about supporting the local economy. We're about supporting people, giving people opportunities, and also supporting the UK and European reprocessing markets for good quality recyclate and the social economy. So what's the challenge? The events we work at, there's between 35,000 to 160,000 people, all converge into a farmer's field for about 7 days of music. Now, the setup takes longer, the takedown takes longer. But what we're really interested in is that those 7 days where we have all of those people. Things like energy, water, sanitation, the toilets, they're all temporary structures that are laid in the ground, taken up and disposed of. All the food is imported, all the drinks are imported, waste is exported. So coming on to the management side of things. There's various things that festival organisers can do. We have voluntary standards, campaigns, the 10-10 campaign, industry green standards, there's the international standards and British standards, all specific to events. Green procurement, very important, so the event organisers, the managers, the productions are all buying green products. There's no polystyrene, no glass, no gas canisters, and no non-recyclable packaging brought onto site. Particularly through the traders, it's much harder to control what the campers bring on. We bulk purchase biodegradable food packaging, so all the traders, everything that is sold on the festival site is sold in biodegradable packaging. We have extended producer responsibility initiatives on beverage containers, which I'll go through a bit later. And suppliers, contractors and traders are selected for their green credentials. Okay, so what we have here, this is a recycling point in a campsite. These are sort of sets of recycling bins that you have in the arena and around the campsite. And this is one of our green messengers. They spread the good word. And it's all about fun, you know. We've got to engage people. It's got to be interesting. So some of the aspects of what we do on site is campus kits. When people arrive, they'll get a recycling bag and a paper bag for the compost. We'll have the recycling points in the campgrounds, which are staffed from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. We'll have staffed bins in the arena. That's from 10 till about 11 at night when it's too dark to see anything. We'll have initiatives where we will swap a bin bag of empty cans for a beer token. So you get rewarded with fresh beer for your old beer. Green messengers, they'll spread the word, they'll talk about the initiatives to the different, to the campers, to people in the arena. And they'll also do some of the litter picking. We have little green buggies. There was a picture of one on the front slide, which go around with trailers and do sort of a tent-to-tent collection of recyclables in the morning. And we also collect vegetable oil from the traders, which is made into biodiesel to run the generators the following year. Deposit schemes, these have worked really well. This here is a very durable plastic cup, has a £2 deposit, and they're reused. You don't get lots of cups on the floor at festivals where they use these. The paper cups and the plastic cups have a 10p deposit on them, so people can bring those back to a recycle exchange and exchange them for money. And we also, this year, had One Water, which supplied the water bottles. Although there are taps and people can fill their own bottles, many don't. Festival Republic, who ran this initiative, along with One Water, the money that generated paid for 3 play pumps, which are like a little roundabout kids go around on, and it pumps up the fresh water. So 3 of those were funded in Africa, plus support for an orphanage in Kenya. Another aspect of audience participation, this is the Can You Kick It? If you like football, if you're good at getting a goal, you basically bring cans again, take a shot at the goal. If you get a goal, you're then entered into a competition where you could win 2 tickets for the next year's festival. And again, this is the recycle exchange I was talking about, where you can exchange a bag of cans for a beer token. Leave No Trace campaign. It's a marketing campaign aimed at the audience to encourage them not to litter, to look after their campsite, and just generally be respectful of the environment which they're in. And this was the Big Chill. It's a 17th century deer park in a really beautiful part of England. There's a really small bicycle. You can't really see it, but if you cycle that at night, the LEDs light up and it says "Leave no trace" reflected in the water. So it's all very pretty. Aluminium cans. We get all these cans back, so what do we do with them? If you don't do anything with them, they take up a lot of space. So what we have here is a can flattener and sorter. So they go into a hopper, they get sorted into steel and aluminium, and they're flattened. Here we have cans coming in. We also sort through residual rubbish or mixed recycling that ends up coming our way. So we get all the cans out, then we haul them ourselves to a UK reprocessor where within a week they're made back into another can. So this gives you an example of the difference, if you like, in volume. This is 200 cans loose, 200 cans baled. So you can see it makes a huge difference in terms of reducing the transport costs and environmental impacts from transport. So back of house, what we do back of house, we have many skips around the site. You can imagine 160,000 people is a vast area. And each skip will have a supervisor. So our compost skip just has compost in. The plastic skip just has plastic. Without a monitor, the skips become a disaster. We also sort through residual waste. So there'll be residual bins scattered throughout the festival along with the recycling. All of those will come back of house and they'll be sorted by, I guess, what are our equivalent of waste pickers, but these guys are volunteers. Okay, we worked this year with the Philippine Community Foundation. These are UK volunteers. The Philippine Community Foundation makes products out of the ring pools. I've got a bracelet down there I'm quite happy to show you. It's a great initiative. They'll make bags, purses, and the women that make these products in the Philippines, the money from those products goes to repairing homes, it goes to education for their children, and into healthcare. You can see these are all UK volunteers. So over, I think it was 6 days, they were pulling the ring pools off. About 47,000 cans went through their hands, and they got the ring pools from that, which is about 13 kilos. We had some good media coverage. So the BBC were with us this year, Country File, which is quite an agricultural program. They followed us around the festival to see what we were doing. Very interested in cans and machines. This is John Craven, who, if you're from England, is very famous and used to do a children's news program when I was very little. After the event, it's awful, awful, awful. This is when the festival goers have gone home. There's nobody left, but they've left their tents, they've left their camping gear, they've left sleeping bags, they've left their clothes, they've left food, and they've left beer. Just gone and left this. So we have about 200 volunteers that will work purely on the salvage, getting blankets, sleeping bags, tents, all ready for reuse. And they'll do this probably for about 4 or 5 days. We have various markets where the products go. The food goes to homeless, Salvation Army, along with sleeping bags and so on. This year, just as the festival season was coming to a close, the floods in Pakistan happened. So we worked with the Pakistan Flood Appeal to salvage very large tents, sleeping bags, blankets, and all of these went straight to Heathrow Airport, where Pakistan Airways flew them straight out to where they were needed. Volunteer power. Without volunteers, none of this could happen. It doesn't happen with a waste management company. We have people that come to us that have special needs. We have homeless people volunteering for us, long-term unemployed, young people not in education or training. But on the other side, we also have students. We have master's students. We've had PhD students that are studying zero waste, studying marketing, audience participation, and so on. After 3-day salvage, so you saw what the state was, it's much better after many weeks of hard work. However, after one festival this year, after all the salvage, 168 tons of tents still went to landfill, which is really, really bad. So what are we going to do for 2011? Well, we're setting up a cooperative for salvage, so we'll be deconstructing tents to get reusable fabric that can be made into new products. We're going to be increasing the number of events we do, and we've also been asked to do some events with some certain drinks companies. We are going to be trialling some new bin systems, because a lot of the bins that you saw have plastic bags in, so you can change the bins frequently. We'll be looking at a bagless system so we can reduce that waste. We're going to be doubling our recycling points in the campground so we can get more waste recycled. We're also going to try effective microorganisms in composting toilets, and we're going to have what we're calling a SMRF, a mobile sustainable material recovery facility. So a machine that can get a greater throughput and a conveyor for sorting the residual, just to make the working conditions a bit better. So thank you. And just to finish off, last year's salvage became this year's compost toilet.